I'm Reed, just a normal 27-year-old guy talking about building wealth and getting your life together in your 20s. Alright, let's talk about something that has been bugging me. It is this constant hum of negativity online, this feeling that everything is just over. You know the vibe. It is over. Guys, we're officially screwed. The economy is fried, absolutely roasted. Dating is hopeless, a barren wasteland. We need to be angry at insert group of people here. Jobs are gone, swallowed whole by AI. And my personal favorite, we're cooked, utterly, completely cooked. According to the internet, we are all screwed. There are no more opportunities to succeed. So why even bother? The future's just a burnt-out mess. At this point, I'm genuinely surprised my toaster isn't making videos about being cooked. And look, I get it. Things are harder in a lot of ways. It has been talked about endlessly, relentlessly across the internet. A lot of young people feel like they played by the rules. They followed the playbook, did all the right things, and still, they got punished for it. Now, this isn't one of those fake motivational videos where I tell you that everything is going to be fine, just grind harder. Bro, how do you not have a house and a business and a wife and kids by now? The world has genuine systemic problems. Problems that absolutely affect our ability to do those things. There is no denying that reality, but I firmly, unequivocally believe that the world is not as cooked as the internet says it is. And I am going to prove exactly why in this video. The internet, or at least a loud vocal part of it, it wants to brainwash you into doing absolutely nothing. A lot of people are being fed this constant stream of negative information all day, every day. And then they mistakenly, dangerously mistake that for reality. The danger here isn't just that doomerism makes you sad, that it makes you feel down. The real profound danger is that it makes you passive to your own life. To the point where you just give up. You just throw your hands in the air and let things happen to you. If you truly believe dating is dead, beyond repair, you are going to stop trying to become someone worth dating. You are just going to sit alone in your room all day, scrolling, stewing. That is a fun life to shoot for, right? If you believe the economy is rigged against you, rigged beyond any hope of repair, you stop building towards anything meaningful. You stop investing in yourself, in your future. If you believe marriage and kids are nothing more than traps, then you might just avoid the very things that could give your life immense meaning and fulfillment. If you consistently listen to the doomers, to the prophets of despair, you might end up miserable, profoundly miserable with your life. And it doesn't need to be that way. You are a person, a human being, who deserves to have a nice and fulfilling life no matter how cooked you might currently think you are. So in this video, I want to aggressively break down the biggest lies the internet tells you about being cooked. We are going to start it off by covering the rise of doomerism, why it has become so terrifyingly popular nowadays. Then, we will cover the 6 absolutely brutal lies that they try to tell you to get you to give up. These are going to be lies about the economy, about dating, about marriage, and about the future itself. We are going to cover why listening to the doomers is actually fundamentally illogical. And then finally, we will tackle the real dangers facing all of us. The world has problems, deep, complex problems. But hopelessness is absolutely not the answer. In fact, embracing hopelessness is just going to make things way worse for you. Personally, whoever they are want you to give up. They want you to be hopeless. They want you to be alone, broke, and miserable. Just an irrelevant pawn in the system forever. I don't want that for you. People love to play the victim. They love to avoid any level of responsibility, like, oh, I'm screwed because of the economy, the president, or XYZ miserable people, truly miserable people, like it when they can drag others down with them. So today, I want to challenge what the internet is constantly feeding you. This video is probably going to get a lot of hate, a lot of pushback, some angry comments. I honestly don't really care. Disagree with me? Absolutely. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Just a simple man from Wisconsin, without an agenda, who just wants to reach 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. That is it. I'm not trying to hide anything. So, before we dive deep into this list, I think we need to talk about why this mindset, this pervasive doomer mindset, has gotten so incredibly popular, because doomerism is absolutely everywhere now. And just because I am anti-doomer doesn't mean I am not acknowledging the deep, profound problems going on. Problems that are undeniably unique to our generation. The world has many, many problems. But doomerism is fundamentally different than simply acknowledging problems. Doomerism is when every single problem becomes ironclad proof that trying in your life is utterly pointless. Doomerism is saying that when the economy is bad, as it sometimes is, there is no reason to build skills, no reason to adapt, and dating is way harder now, which is a fact, by the way. So, there is no reason to become a better partner, or even to look for someone at all. People are lonely, so there is no reason to put yourself around others. Marriage and kids are risky. So any kind of commitment is just plain stupid. Every single thing, every single struggle becomes further evidence for the exact same debilitating conclusion. which is, why even try? What is the point? And I think it has gotten worse, significantly worse, because the internet, particularly the algorithms, seems to actively reward this hopelessness and this negativity, the most negative, the most absurd, the most fear-mongering content. That stuff spreads the fastest. It goes viral because it validates how you already feel, but it is also, simultaneously, a trap, a very effective trap. A video saying that you are totally screwed. Man, the economy, it is over, finished. That is going to travel a lot further, get a lot more views, than a video saying, yeah, your life's hard, but there are things you can still do. Negativity gives you that instant emotional hit, that dopamine rush. But that second video, the one that offers hope, that second video asks something from you. It demands action, which almost makes it less satisfying, less instantly gratifying to watch. Doomerism is incredibly appealing because it conveniently removes all responsibility if everything is impossible. If the world is truly cooked, then your lack of progress is absolutely not your fault, and good for you for not trying. Trying is just a waste of time, a fool's errand. A lot of people are getting stuck, deeply stuck. In this toxic loop, they are almost addicted to their own problems. They just consume these problems every single day, and they make it their entire life, their entire identity. And if there's one thing I have learned from like 20 years on the internet, is that what you constantly consume absolutely becomes your reality. If you constantly see problems, if you seek them out, that is all you are ever going to think about. Eventually being cooked just becomes your entire life, your worldview, your identity. Any problem that you have can be explained away by something else. That is the mentality. That exact mentality I am pushing back on in this video. If the internet or the negative forces within it can convince you that your life is already over, then those negative forces have won. We don't want them to win, and I am using them as the people who actively want to see you alone, broke, and miserable. The more people that fall for doomerism, the less free, the less fulfilling of a life you are going to have, and in fact, it is probably going to make your life much, much harder than if you were actively trying, actively fighting. So, let's get into all these insidious lies that the internet is pushing on us to try and convince us to simply give up. Outright, the first lie that we are constantly told on the internet. If life is harder, that automatically means life is impossible. So this is one of the biggest mental traps, the most common cognitive distortions people fall into. They notice that something, anything, is harder than it used to be, and then they jump straight into this illogical conclusion. Oh, okay, well I guess it is impossible now. Why even try? And I truly understand where that sentiment comes from, because there are a lot of things nowadays, a lot of fundamental aspects of life that are undoubtedly harder, right? Like buying a house is statistically harder now. Possibly the hardest it has ever been. From an income to housing perspective, finding a partner and starting a family is much harder. Because dating has gotten so incredibly complex, so utterly weird in this online world, getting ahead financially is much harder, although that could be a little debatable with the rise of modern, non-traditional career paths, but dating's certainly gotten weirder. That is undeniable. Friendships are less natural, less organic in this increasingly online world, and plus, I mentioned this in my last video, but the internet has ruthlessly made everyone compare their completely normal, mundane life to someone else's perfectly curated highlight reel. Like, I can absolutely see why life looks impossibly hard when you are sitting in a low-paying job feeling stuck, watching millionaires, or at least people who appear to be millionaires, live their extravagant lives on social media. But despite how much harder these things undeniably are, I still see people, actual, living, breathing people, doing all of these things on a daily basis. Almost like normal, regular-ass people, oftentimes, frankly, stupid people. Finding their place in this world, they are making money, they are buying houses, they are getting married, they have good friends. They are finding a truly fulfilling life. Like this month, I am going to one of my friend's weddings, and he is 5 feet 4 inches tall. Now the internet, in its infinite wisdom, would basically try to convince this guy that he is cooked, that he should never even try at dating. Like, was his dating life harder? Yeah, it certainly was. It was a struggle. But did that stop him? No, it absolutely did not. No matter how much the odds are stacked against you, how seemingly insurmountable the challenges, there is really nothing, absolutely nothing, that giving up gets. Very few things in this life are actually genuinely impossible. There is a massive cavernous difference between saying, this is harder than it should be, and saying, oh, my life's completely over. One of them is an honest, realistic assessment. The other is a total, pathetic surrender to the enemy. You absolutely know your life path if you just give up and coast. Your life is just going to be a whole lot of nothing, a long, empty stretch of uneventful days. In my mind, you have no idea. Absolutely no idea. The path life will take you if you just keep trying. if you just keep going and fighting, and that, to me, is very exciting. Like you just genuinely have no idea where your life is going. Scary, yes, but exciting, incredibly exciting. And I think the internet nowadays constantly pushes people towards surrender. Like every problem, every setback is just irrefutable proof that trying is utterly pointless, and every struggle becomes proof that society, as we know it, is done. Finished. You have to get out of that corrosive mindset. Difficulty is simply not the same as impossibility. Your grandparents had problems, massive problems, that you and I will never ever understand. Like my grandfather at my age, he had already been hit with the Great Depression, that economic catastrophe, and he had served in World War II, that global conflict, but despite those immense, soul-crushing things, he had already started a business. He had several kids by my age. It is really a mentality thing a lot of the time. I would, without hesitation, call his struggles much, much worse than mine. And the opposite is true as well. Our generation has problems. Unique problems that they would have absolutely no idea how to deal with. Like each generation has its own distinct version of hard. We are not special. Our struggles are real. They are valid. But we are very, very far from being in a hopeless situation. And later in the video, I am going to talk about all the incredible opportunities we have. Opportunities that other generations simply did not have. Like people are still building good, meaningful lives out here. Believe it or not, they are just not going viral on the internet for it. A video titled, "I slowly improved my life over 7 years by making decent choices," is absolutely not a viral hook. It is boring. But a video saying, "I'm a 35-year-old loser. Here is my advice from the bottom." Those go viral left and right. So that is the first lie. Just because life is hard doesn't mean it is impossible or not worth trying. Outright, the second lie that the internet tells you is that everyone is miserable. Let's be honest with ourselves, truly honest. The internet is not just some random representative sample of humanity. It is a sample of people who are probably online too much, online enough to constantly tell you how cooked humanity, how cooked everything is. And look, I have been online a ton in my life. I believe deeply that the more time that we spend online, the less happy we will ultimately be. I will try to find a statistic to put in this video to back that up. But we get a lot of our information, our worldview, from chronically online people, and I think this kind of creates a massive debilitating bias, because the views of people who just are not really online, people who are out there living very fulfilling, very happy lives, well, we never ever hear about them. Some of the happiest people I know, you ask them something about, modern news or politics,